Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be solving the equation a to the power of b minus b to the power of a is equal to 17. So my goal here is to find both the values of a and b. So to solve this, I'm going to first rewrite a to the power of b as a to the power of b to the power of 2 over 2, which is the same thing as a to the power of b to the power of 1, which is the same thing as a to the power of b. And I'm going to rewrite b to the power of a as b to the power of a to the power of 2 over 2. Now from here, I can actually rearrange this to be in the form a over b over a to the power of b over 2 to the power of 2 minus b to the power of a over 2 to the power of 2 is equal to 17. Now, I'm going to simplify this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is let a to the power of b over 2 equal to the variable x and b to the power of a over 2 equal to the power of y. So this way it's just not as complicated. So if I substitute in these respective values, I get x squared minus y squared is equal to 17. Now, if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, x squared minus y squared is equal to x plus y times x minus y is equal to 17. Now 17 is the same thing as 17 times 1. And the reason I'm rewriting it as 17 times 1 is because what I'm going to do is assign one of these values, each of these values to the respective on the right-hand side. And obviously x plus y is greater than x minus y, and 17 is greater than 1. So what I'm going to do is assign the value of 17 to x plus y and assign the value of 1 to x minus y. So this gives me two equations. I have x plus y equals 17 and x minus y is equal to 1. And this right here is a system of equations. So to solve the system of equations, I can add these two equations. X plus x is 2x. Positive y, negative y cancel out. So I get 2x is equal to 17 plus 1, which is 18. And if I divide both sides by 2, I get x is equal to 9. Now, it's pretty simple to find the value of y from here. We can plug this into either one of these equations. I'm going to choose the first one. So I have 9 plus y is equal to 17, meaning y is equal to 8. And we can even check this on my second equation over here. It says x minus y is equal to 1. X is 9, y is 1. 9 minus 8 is 1. So we know that these two values are right. All right. So now that we have our values of x and y, what I'm going to do is go back over here and let me write these over here. So I have a to the power of b over 2 is equal to y, and a to the power of b over 2 is equal to x, and b to the power of a over 2 is equal to y. Now, we have y is equal to 8 and x is equal to 9. So I'm going to plug in these values into these respective equations. So now I have a to the power of b over 2 is equal to 9, and b to the power of a over 2 is equal to 8. Now from here, I'm going to square both sides. I'm going to first focus on the equation on my left-hand side. So now if I square both sides, I'm going to use the formula a to the power of m to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m times n. So this turns into a to the power of b over 2 times 2 is equal to 9 squared, which is 81. b over 2 times 2, these two cancel out. So I'm left with a to the power of b is equal to 81. Now before I move on further with this, I'm going to go to my right-hand side equation, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I have a to the power of a over 2 times 2 is equal to 8 squared, which is 64. These two cancel out. And now I have b to the power of a is equal to 64. So I have a to the power of b is equal to 81, and b to the power of a is equal to 64. Now, 81 is the same thing as 3 to the power of 4. And 64 is the same thing as 8 squared, which is equal to 2 to the power of 3 to the power of 2. 8 is the same thing as 2 to the power of 3. And again, a to the power of m to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m times n. So the 3 and the 2 multiply, so I get 2 to the power of 6. Now, 2 to the power of 6 is the same thing as 2 to the power of 3 times 2. And another property of exponents is that if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So this is equal to 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 3, and 2 squared is 4. So this is equal to 4 to the power of 3. Meaning, I have a to the power of b is equal to 3 to the power of 4, and b to the power of a is equal to 4 to the power of 3. Well, notice I have a to the power of b over here, b to the power of a over here. These two are opposites, or sorry, switched. And I have 3 to the power of 4 over here and 4 to the power of 3 over here. Those two are switched. Meaning, we can assign the value of a to 3 and b to 4. So, the solution here is a equals 3 and b equals 4, as we just solved over here. And if you want, you can even plug this in and check for yourself.